we're trying to get this recorded. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
So Anthony, said he wants to know why everybody's here. I think it's a great idea. But can we take a moment of just silence, meditation, ground ourselves in, so we're all here for just a minute or two?
Hi guys, I'll go ahead and go first. Well, I'm here because for me personally, not to like call it out, but like my God, my father, like he's been very instrumental in my recovery, my life. Just having faith in general makes life worth living, because I was pretty suicidal before then. Like life was just arbitrary, and having faith in something bigger than myself is just one of the most fulfilling things. So I thought I'd come here and learn, you know, how we can kind of put that in action with the peer support approach. And, you know, because I'm not here to condemn or convert. If you add one more O to God, it's good. And that's what I believe in. I also believe in God, but I also believe that love is my religion. So if I have a religion, it is love. I do believe in God, my Father. I believe in Jesus. Amen. And like, I believe in doing good and being like more like as much like Jesus as I can. Because people are so wonderful. Humans are so fascinating, and everyone deserves the best shot at it and the most love that I can give. So that is it. I'm very excited to be here with you guys. And that's my thing.
So did you say you're on Battleship, Iowa?
Yes, ma'am. It's a great place to be, especially as a former Marine who deployed twice on naval ships. It's awesome to smell the boat smell again and see, you know, get to kind of be on a type of a vessel that I deployed on. So I like it. And I love the people I work with. We have a VPN fam that you wouldn't believe. So I got my brother Rich here. Yeah, SD4. Okay. All the SDs are great, but I feel very blessed.
Okay, so I think
I'll go. I'm feeling a little awkward today, so I turned the video off. But you know, I just went through. I've talked about this before in this group, but I went through rehab starting in June, and you know, I believed in God, but I didn't think that. I won't say that I didn't think God didn't believe in me, but I just didn't have a connection. And I thought that I'd gone like so far down the road that I didn't really know where to go. And, you know, just sitting there and just waiting and thinking about it. Somehow or the other, something came into me, like some type of faith came into me, some light came to me. It's like that little bright light at the end of the tunnel that wasn't a train. And it felt good, you know, and it just, when I think about it, like, circumstances in my life and things that have, you know, happened in the last couple of years are all very small things that, you know, show me that there is something out there. And when I took just little small steps in trying to do what I could at a time where I felt really incapacitated, it's led me to a point where I'm recovering. I'm far from recovered, but I am recovering. And I know that when faith came back into my heart, which is God, you know, I don't think I'll ever be a Bible guy, but I do believe in God, and I definitely believe that Jesus walked the earth, and you know what he did is an inspiration and an example to all of us. So, you know, my sponsor, I'm in AA, like, and I just talk with him and try and work things out. And like, and he gave me a little advice. And he, like, when you pray, like I always say the Serenity prayer, but I always like start with please. Then I go, you know, thank you. And then I'll go, thy will not mine be done. But now I'm adding on the very end, like, God, help me to think differently today, because I'm not going to change people. So I need to change. I need to learn to adapt. So it's just kind of, it's an evolution, you know, it's a way with faith and trying to be a decent human being that I find myself changing, not just on a take, you know, a minute to like get over it, but more like don't let it into your system anyhow. Don't let hate into your system. Don't let resentment into your system, because it's poison. So yeah, that's why I just like it. I like to explore it. You know, it's been good for me. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Richard. Thank you all for sharing. I had to step out. I know Anthony, but did you have a chance to
No,
speak?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
So I'm here because I have an affinity to, I would go beyond, for me, beyond spirituality, and it would be as a follower of Christ. That's my goal. That's my desire. And in particular, I feel a calling for prayer. Personal call for prayer. I feel like I'm a person God called to pray, and intercession in particular. So what I like to do is hear about all the various groups. And often what I'll do is make a mental note and I'll pray for that group, whether it's housing or education or whatever. And just so that maybe they get along better, or maybe they'll find a solution, or maybe, they'll, whatever it may be, that it would move along in that direction. So, and I believe that, all of us are well-intended in the various groups. And of course, we come from different backgrounds and we're going to have different perspectives, just as the way that all our military backgrounds are different. But I just feel like bringing or requesting grace in Christ, and again, that's for me, is a way where I feel like he hears and he kind of moves it along. And so, so that's a personal calling. And that's, I don't share this very much. As obviously, I've known Kathy a while. I don't think I've ever shared that with Kathy before, but that's kind of what I do. Is I really try to hear and try to join in what God's already doing, and help bring it along. So,
Man, thank you for sharing. I'll add the rest of mine. I just gave my name, but again, a peer specialist. I'm a pastor in the Los Angeles area of an online ministry, and I too am a follower of Christ. And one thing that we talk about in this group, we want to make sure, and Audrey said it earlier, I'm not trying to make anybody believe what I believe or condemn anybody for what they believe. So everyone is welcome. However you believe that gets you to where you need to be, that's the part that we want to emphasize, because we all have different belief systems, and we do what we need to do to make ourselves okay, because that's the only thing that you can control. You can only control yourself. You can't control anybody else. You can only control yourself. So if you're okay, then the others have a choice to be okay or not, but just so long as you know that you are okay. Because spirituality is a part of our wellness. And we want to make sure that as veterans, now I'm a U.S. Army veteran, we want to make sure that as veterans that we are doing what we can do to maintain our wellness. And as providers, we're doing what we can do to support other veterans in maintaining their wellness. So again, thank you all for being here. We have a brief training, a video training that we're going to share is how to start a veterans ministry or welcome center. And that can be under any faith belief. It can be anywhere you want to have it. So this is a video from the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnership. And that's a VA organization. They have a website. I can get you all that information. And then they have a lot of information about how to reach out to veterans, how to be that bridge to their spirituality. Because again, it is definitely something that that we use to maintain our wellness. So I will start the video. Let's see. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Mhm.
And hear it?
Yep, I can.
Okay.
I don't hear anything yet from the video, I mean.
Kathy, I don't have
Keep it.
any sound.
No volume? Okay.
No.
Okay.
sound.
Let me undo and do it again.
Partnership Pocket Guide that you will get today after the presentation,
Can you hear now?
and is also located on our
Yes.
website.
Thank
There
you.
will be a Q&A session to answer any questions you may have at the end of this presentation. This slide is a depiction of our Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnership regional map. This information is on our website. A group of states have been assigned to each team member. Next slide, please, Will. Go back to the regional. Here we go. A group of states have been assigned to each team member to be responsible for providing information to faith-based community organizations. We are reaching out to them to share information about our mission, upcoming webinars, our pocket guide, and just sharing information. Next slide. In the next few slides, I would like to go over the 5 steps to help start a veteran ministry and welcome center in your house of worship or faith-based organization. First step, we will talk about how to identify veterans in your organization. Step 2, examples of a mission statement and vision. Step 3, elected officers. Step 4, holding meetings. And step 5, developing a strategic plan for the year. There are 2 goals you may want to accomplish. You may want to recognize or acknowledge veterans in your organization by holding an event during February month in November, or during Military Appreciation Month in May. You can also accomplish this acknowledgement any other time of the year you choose. An example of what you do is maybe host a banquet, a breakfast, lunch, or dinner for them. This event can be used to honor them and to show your appreciation. As a second goal, you may want to host an outreach event. That is where our office can assist you. Our office is the gateway for faith-based organizations to contact the VA. If you want to partner with our office, we can provide VA resources and share information. As Mr. Washington mentioned, normally we would plan an in-person outreach event with your organization. We would plan a seminar or a mini conference in person, But because of COVID-19 this year, we are having virtual webinars instead. Next slide. Let's talk about step one. Step one, you can identify or capture the veterans in your organization by setting up a table before and after service if you are in a house of worship. Use a sign-in sheet. The sign-in sheet can contain information such as name, email address, phone number, and address if they want to provide this information. This information is strictly voluntary. This information will be used to contact ministry members to share information about upcoming meetings and other activities you are planning or want to plan. In our church, for instance, we had dependents that wanted to join our ministry as well. You may want to get your pastor's approval to start this ministry. Next slide. Step two, create mission and vision statement. This is totally left up to you. You want to have a purpose for your mission, and that is what the vision statement will do. Also, you want a vision as to where you want the ministry to go. Here are two examples. For example, I use our office mission statement and vision. Our mission here at the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnership is to engage, educate, and inform faith-based community organizations about the VA tools and resources that will better equip them to serve the veterans, their families, survivors, caregivers, and other beneficiaries within their organization. Example of a vision would be our vision. Our vision here at the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnership is to create and strengthen partnerships with faith-based organizations and community leaders across the nation to serve our veterans. Next slide. Step three. Step three is to elect officers. Now, this is optional. You don't have to be this formal. It's your choice. However, you want to meet with ministry members regularly when you start your veteran ministry and welcome center. Remember, these are examples. You can have a president, vice president, and secretary. These are elected positions, which means they are voted on each year. Each position has a specific role. In summary, the president is the lead. He or she will report to the pastor. The vice president will sit in for the president when he or she is not available. And the secretary, he or she will take minutes for the record and perform other duties as deemed by the president. You can also have other voluntary positions in your ministry, like the examples here, such as an administrative coordinator, a workshop and life skill coordinator, an outreach coordinator, a chaplain, and a member at large. And these are just examples that I used because these were the voluntary positions that we had in my ministry. And they all serve a purpose and they all had special duties that they had to attend to. Next slide. Excuse me. Step four. Step four, we suggest that you hold monthly or quarterly meetings to discuss issues and concerns of veterans in your ministry and your community, and try to help them come up with resolutions. You can also talk about what activities you would like to have. I will give you examples later of some of the activities you can do. You can have meetings with the officers of the ministry, which I will call Leadership Council. And you will meet with this council before you meet with the ministry as a whole. The Leadership Council are officers and they decide on the agenda of the meeting before you meet with everyone else. You want to discuss what you want to talk about. For example, what you want to talk about that was not closed at the last meeting. You want to dialogue and talk about concerns and issues that are prevalent to the veterans in your community and try to come up with resolutions for these concerns. You can talk about upcoming events you're planning or upcoming activities you want to plan. Step five, you may want to have a strategic plan for the year. The strategic plan is to implement your mission and vision for your ministry. What are your goals? and what you expect to accomplish for the year. As you complete these goals each year, we'll be able to see how the ministry has grown over the years. You can plan group activities such as trips, seminars, conferences, and other social activities. You may want to connect to the local regional office, VA regional office that is, or the local VA medical center, or the community-based outpatient clinic in your community and share that information with your ministry members. You can also connect with our office to set up webinars where we share information about VA programs and services. We would love to partner with your nonprofit faith-based organization. We can provide suicide prevention training for clergies and for your community, and set up webinars on particular topics of your choosing based on the concerns of veterans in your community, such as free eligibility burial benefits, and maybe an overview of VA benefits, to name a few. We plan these events 30 to 90 days in advance and only need a few requirements from you to get started. This year, we have been setting up 2 to 3 webinars a month, like Mr. Washington mentioned earlier. And that is because, of course, COVID-19. Next slide. Types of administrative documents. Now, these are suggestions and examples of various documents you can utilize in your ministry. Most organizations keep records, and these documents can help with that. For example, an agenda for ministry meetings. What are you going to talk about in your meeting? If you provide this, you can provide this agenda to your ministry members before the meeting. An action plan, your activities. What is the purpose? What do you plan to accomplish? How much will it cost? This document can be submitted to your ministry head to approve your activity if you have a budget. Also, an expense report, an estimated cost of how much the activity will cost. Some organizations may require this as a part of your annual report, some may not. The annual report will be a summary of all your activities for the year. Next slide. Programs and activities. These are all examples of the type of things that you can do in your ministry. The next 3 slides are programs and activities you can do throughout the year. These are only suggestions. For instance, deployment care package. What we did in my church, and I keep saying that because I did it for a while and I'm still doing it now in my church. We have members, church members that are way abroad. They are still active duty and they need things. And what we do is put together these care packages for them. We put in the care package the pastor's sermon, a journal, a new journal, music, religious and Christian music, religious and Christian movies, inspirational books, anything that we think that they may enjoy. We will contact the family and ask them what their favorite snacks are. And we put their favorite snacks in there. And that's what we do for members, service members that are still serving active, even though they're not veterans yet. We do this as a part of reaching out to service members to make them feel that they are still loved and that we are thinking of them back home and praying for them. Plan field trips, veteran trips to state or local military museums, air shows, USO or patriotic musicals at no cost to veterans. Yearly outreach job fair, outreach activities. Sponsor yearly job fairs. Invite local employers to hire veterans. Plan outreach community activities. Bringing VA resources to support veterans in your congregation. Wall of Fame or honor. Display pictures of active duty service members or veterans to honor them during the month of Military Appreciation Month or Veterans Month. Decorate with red, white, and blue ribbons and banners and posters to recognize and show them that you love and you care about them and you support them. Next slide. More examples of activities. You can honor our military service members as well by setting aside a day, thanking them, showing them compassion and honor for their service, and those who continue to serve, like the active duty military. You can set aside a day to recognize them. As I have mentioned before, support widows and spouses. Ask them if they want their car washed. Ask them if they need an oil change for their car. Mow the lawn for them. They would appreciate this. Visit veterans in the hospital. You can provide care packages. If that's allowed in your hospital, you need to check with your voluntary coordinator at the hospital to see what their guidelines are. Watch a movie with them, sit and talk with them. They love it when people come and visit with them. They love that. Have a special lunch, dinner, and fellowship with them. And as I mentioned before, this can be on veterans, during Veterans Month or Military Appreciation Month in May. You can have a special speaker, give out small tokens of appreciation, display memorial tables for the veterans that have passed on, such as spouses of widows, sons of daughters, fathers of mothers. They really appreciate this. This slide is just another example of the activities you can do in your ministry to honor your military family members in your congregation. Next slide. This is just pictures of various activities that you can also do again in your ministry. You can collect items for homeless veterans and take them to them and give them out to them. They appreciate that. The picture at the top left is an assembly line, putting together care packages, set up a table in your house of worship or your faith-based organization, have a sign-in sheet like I mentioned before, and capture their information, and so you can share information with them. You can get information from VA, our office in particular. You can get information, send us an email, and we will send you the resources we have. Right now, we are sending a lot electronically because everything is virtual right now and we're not in our offices, but we can send you hard copies of pamphlets and brochures, fact sheets, and things like that. Also, if your ministry have a fair day or an annual community event, you can set up a table like in this last picture, and you can request information from our office or any of the VA program offices, and they would gladly send it to you, and set up a table where you have information you can give out to the veterans in your community. Next slide. This slide contains the Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnership Pocket Guide on how to start a veteran ministry and welcome center. This is the front of the guide that you see here in the slide. The guide contains information about Center for Faith-Based Neighborhood Partnership, our office mission, steps to start a veteran ministry, ways in which your faith-based community organization can help veterans, and ways the Center for Faith-Based Neighborhood Partnership can help you. It also contains the Center for Faith-Based Neighborhood Partnership website, an email address with a link to VA Welcome Kit. All who attended the webinar today will be provided an electronic copy that you can also get from our website. We will provide access to our office information at the end of this presentation. That ends my presentation for today. And now I will turn the mic back over to Mr. Walters.
Okay, there we are. Danelia had some computer issues, so she ended up having to drop off. What did you think about that?
There's a good intro into what it would look like to start a group. Rich and I were honestly just texting like, wow, this would be something cool for us to kind of start putting in our thinking caps, you know, how to start something like that within our SC4.
Okay. Okay. So would you, how would you start it?
Well, I was
What
thinking
do you
about
think
that.
some of the first steps you would do?
Honestly, just identifying veterans that we think, you know, how many veterans would we be able to reach and that would come to our event? And then what does that start? Like, obviously we'd have to sit down and plan. And I like the very end where it was like, every Tuesday is a small cell group, every Wednesday is, you know, we probably wouldn't do it just like that, but starting maybe with like a dinner or a lunch where we get everyone together and just talk about ideas for what that would look like. You know, if it's a weekly meeting or a bi-weekly get together. Our program manager is a chaplain. So maybe we were talking about possibly getting him involved and, you know, just creating that a place where not only are we lifting up our veterans, but it's just like a place for love where we can lift up people in darkness too, whatever they're going through, just having those people that they're going through a dark time. There's light. There's people that, you know, there's people that support them and give them that hand up.
Okay. All right.
Well,
all
Audrey
right.
and I, we share the duty of being over at this place called City Heart, which is in the Cabrillo Village. It's like US Vets. There's a ton of veterans here, older veterans. There's a ton of people that have been isolating, and there's not enough case management to cover the people here. Just, I think, kind of by the way that, you know, the VA writes everything. You know, once people go into HUD-VASH, I think after a year, you know, their case management goes away. So like, there's a lot of people that, and really older veterans that aren't getting reached. And we have a place where,
I'm sorry, is that where Mr. Oppenheimer is?
that's where John is. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sitting in that office right now. John's like 15 feet away in the other room right now.
Okay.
And him and Paige are very, very open to, like, you know, letting, well, Paige especially, she like runs the place actually, even though John's a great advocate, but they're up for helping out. And, you know, we as Audrey and I as VPAM members, one of the things that we're tasked to do is to, you know, work on groups. And, you know, so I know Jesse's down and obviously Audrey's down, you know, so just, it would be really cool to figure out what's going on, you know, how we could do something over here. Because everybody would have an open mind towards it. We need a lot of direction, or I need a lot of direction.
Well, I love this. I love this idea at City Heart. I love it. Wow. I didn't even think of that.
Because that starts with your captive audience. You know, you're starting with the group. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's space there to do it. And there's like, you know, a lot of what I like. I like that space because there's you can sit at there's a big like table, or in the next room over there's like a sitting area. So wow, that gives me the warm and fuzzies just thinking of that place and a possible you know group.
Amy,
with
do you have
this
your hand up?
I'm sorry?
I was just asking Amy if her hand is up. I think she got her hand up.
Oh, I know she put a heart up.
Yeah, I think I put a heart up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so what do you think, Anthony? What is your, you know, what kind of input can you give to either Audrey and Richard, or something that you may be thinking about on your own?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I mean, I think the application in this example she gave was in a church. And in the church community, veterans are in, you know, the traditional church community. There's really not a lot going on for veterans, for those who are still going to church on Sundays.
Right.
And I'm thinking about maybe helping coordinate a resource fair, a regional resource fair, where you know, the VPAN's been doing these wellness fairs, which are fantastic. but doing one maybe hosted by a church or in a church parking lot in various locations where you get the support, the staffing of church folk who want
Okay.
to volunteer, want to help. And you know, they'll make, who knows, they could even provide food or coffee or whatever. And it just, you know, a lot of people who attend church don't even identify as veterans.
Right.
And then, you know, well, did you know about this program? I had no idea. So you could have folks that could help maybe with, you know, maybe be there with how to open a claim, a VA claim, or maybe about state benefits, or about, you know, businesses, women ministry, women, you know, there's so many areas that we have for vets in California and in the federal side. So, and maybe bring in the local VPAN as well, because they're there. Of course, we would invite the VA, you know, I mean, it could be something very nice, you know what I'm saying, where individuals who have an interest in this may want to come and they're, you know, and support, and then, and maybe do it, I'm just thinking doing it regionally. LA is so big, and
Yes.
so, you know, do a little bit at a time. You might, you know how it is. Different churches are more active in different places, and other churches are more active in other places. And, you know, anyway, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Yeah. So we have 2 great ideas going here. And Audrey and Richard, I would love to hear next month. We would love to hear next month how you're progressing with it. Because again, you have that space, you have the group there, and the ideas that the presenter gave are definitely awesome.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And can I get that email or that website one more time? I know it's on the very last slide, but it was, I took most of the notes off the slides, but I just missed a little bit. So she said it was on the website.
Okay, www.va.gov/CFBNP.
Charlie Foxtrot Bravo November Papa.
Yes.
Awesome.
Hey, Anthony,
Yes.
Thank you.
if you were able to put something together like on churches, so obviously it'd probably be a Sunday, you know, maybe like a Calvet thing or whatever, I would be willing to volunteer to be there.
Thank you.
I know there's some, I guess, you know, legal points between, like, you know, a VPAN event, me working, me volunteering, and I don't really understand all that, but, you know, I'd volunteer as long as we could, you know, make it right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to be there to talk to the people, you know, about the VPAN and what we can do for them.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily has to be a Sunday. I know a lot of churches do, our church does a movie night every so often for their local. They do, you know, Disney movies, and they do those on Saturdays. We do, you know, churches do like October harvest fairs. Think they're coming back because COVID's ending now. So things like that, I think are,
Goodness.
yeah, they'll be, I generally think there may be they're probably a Saturday and maybe a Friday night more so than a Sunday. But yeah, I agree with, and I thank you for the support, Richard. And
Yeah, you know how to get a hold of me.
yeah.
Yeah, I also too would volunteer. So you have
Thank you.
another hand.
So I definitely would welcome all of you. Anthony and I talked about this a while back, doing some type of collaboration in the community. And this is sort of like that catalyst that gets it going. I've had a lot of pastors in South LA area talk about wanting to do something for veterans, wanting to recognize veterans, because oftentimes they don't know that their church member is a veteran until their funeral.
Right.
When they see the flag draped casket.
Right.
And then go, oh, he was a veteran. Oh, she was a veteran. And then now they're asking questions and trying to figure out what to do next.
Right.
So those pastors, I would love to get them together. I put out an invitation to come today, but this video is online. So I'm going to look at inviting them to come out and, well, to tune in and watch this video. Those who express an interest, and see what they would like to do. If they're really interested in it, because it is work. It is
Yeah.
work, you know, you have to contact
Good work.
people, find out who's, you know, like I said, the food, the coffee, the drinks, depending on what time of day you're having it. You know, you have to have something, and then having the facilities for those who come. And then first and foremost, finding out who the veterans are, because I wrote down the veterans, those who are on active duty, their spouses, and their widows. I like the idea of the ministry putting together care packages.
Yeah.
One thing that I tell everyone, when I was in the service, this was back in the 80s. When I was in, I had this gentleman, there were several members of my church who would write letters to me or send me a nice card. And you may know, but you don't know. I can't even put it into words how it made me feel.
Oh, yeah.
The mail call was at the end of the day, after we've been yelled at, after we've been cussed at, after we've been called everything but a child of God. After I was in Fort Dix, New Jersey. I'm born and raised in LA. So I was in Fort Dix, New Jersey in the wintertime. So imagine the kind of day that I had, going to the rifle range, low crawling in the mud. I would come home, I would come back to the barracks, change clothes, because my BDUs can stand up on their own with the amount of mud in them. After I take off the uniform, after I take off the long johns, I have mud on my skin. Okay, that's how deep we were in this. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And I can't do this, I can't do this. And then they would have mail call. And then they'd call my name and I'd get a card. And that just kind of erased the whole day. Because from then on, I was on cloud 9.
Paragon Trail?
Huh?
Does Paragon Trail ring any bells for you?
Paragon Trail, yes.
Yeah, I went to basic training at Dix and AIT at Dix.
Yes, I did
85.
both. In 85?
Yeah, 85, I was there. It was my first winter. Lovely New Jersey.
Yes. So, and definitely being able to find out who the active duty members are. And then if that ministry or a collective group of ministries would put together packages so that the person who grew up in that ministry, or the person who has family members in that ministry, can get something from home. You know, people talk about now, you know, we have Facebook, we have FaceTime, we can talking to people across the world, but nothing beats a handheld card or a letter, a piece of paper that you can pull out in the middle of the night and turn your flashlight on and read how much somebody loves and appreciates you.
I so agree. And I
Mhm.
was going to say that in certain areas, certain churches seem to do more activity or more open. They probably would be more open. You know, I can think of 1 or 2 churches off the top of my head that would want to do it in certain parts of LA County.
Mhm.
And I agree with you, Kathy. I think most churches don't know who the veterans are, and they might know that their children are active duty. So you might have some children that are active duty. I guess, and those would be great ministries as well to send packages to them. But I guess where I'm thinking is helping those people who are there as well. Maybe the members, or like a lot of people don't even know how to use the VA home loan program or the CalVet home loan program. And wouldn't it be amazing to own a home? Wouldn't it be amazing to have somebody who will take the time to explain it to you how it works? Who cares about you, not just going to try to sell you something.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
wonderful. And that's just one of many benefits that we rate as veterans, you know, that home loan, or somebody explain a claim, or what is, you know, how does that work, or what are my options, or, you know, you know, whatever it is. Another big one I get is those who are aging. You know, I'm now a widow because my spouse passed. I have had no idea what to do, where to go, what I need, paperwork, what, you know, and it's such a tough time. And, you know, so maybe the cemetery, you know, having somebody, because I know they have that whole kit and you can pre-register and so on. Things like that, I think could really, you know, because it comes that time. I had a call yesterday of a woman, and she was just practically in tears. So that's common for what we do. But
Yes.
I think things like that, I think will go a long way for them.
So I can see us finding a ministry that is active and making that a hub in the various areas.
Yes.
And then, because they may have a lot, but the church down the street might only have one or two, and another church might have one. So instead of them taking a big burden, they can all come together, and then we can find out who the veterans are, who are on active duty, who the spouses are, because of that lack of information, and we can bring it to our communities. So
Right.
let's look at that, because we're winding down on time. I'm a great respecter of time, because I definitely appreciate you all for coming out today. And Danelia had internet problems, but we had talked previously, and we'll have the recording to go back and re-review this. But for Audrey and Richard, would love to have a report from you next month on what you've done so far, even if it was just getting permission to do it.
Right.
Whatever steps you make, because every step is a step toward the ultimate goal.
True.
And then Anthony, if you can pinpoint some churches in different areas that might either consider being a hub or be somewhere near someplace that could be a hub. That's another place that we can start with, because we also want to invite those ministry leaders to this group so that they can come to the table and we can talk about, how do you find out who the veterans are in your church? What do you do on Flag Day? How do you honor them at Veterans Day? So those are things that we will be talking about in this group as well.
Anthony,
Yes, sir.
I live in San Pedro, and I think Audrey lives in Costa Mesa. So if we could get something geographically a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, I honestly don't know that area as well. So maybe you guys know of a particular church or faith group that would, be open. I know more. I live in the San Fernando Valley, and I have some contacts in the Antelope Valley, which is SD1. So
Okay.
the SD1 and maybe SD3 that I have a couple of churches I know right off.
Okay.
But I don't know, the other areas. We'd probably need somebody in SD5. What did I say? Anyway,
Well,
we
we'll
got
figure it
to,
out.
yeah,
we'll
we got to
figure
get somebody.
So even if you just start with one, even if we start with one and it becomes a model, then we don't have to work hard to do
Yeah.
the next one.
Right. Exactly.
So, I don't believe in overwhelming. I believe in self-care and making sure that you stay well. So little bitty steps do allow us to make it to the goal. So
Right.
if you only find one or two, that's great. If you find a group of them, that's great. If you only find one, that's great. Even somebody said, well, I'll get back to you. But definitely see what we can do to bring back those reports for next month's meeting.
Sounds
right.
like a plan. I'm just putting my email in here in case anybody needs it.
Hey, Kathy, I put my email in there, and Audrey just put hers in.
Okay.
If you could give us some guidance, we're going to need, I'm not speaking for Audrey, I'm speaking for myself. I need some guidance. We're willing, and I know Jess would be willing. It just,
I know we have a couple of things going on, and I don't want to overwhelm Jess too much, but I definitely know that we'll have what my thought is just have kind of like a structured plan of like, where, who, what, when, where, and then marketing, like flyers, how are we going to pass the word out, having foods and refreshments, just a little, what does it look like? But I'm looking forward to chatting with you, Rich, about what we think this is going to come up to be. I think it's, it's crazy how God works, because it's just like, I was asking, I'm always asking him, like, God, if you have something for me, please, like, show me. And I kept coming into the faith-based group today. I was like, I didn't think I'd get a mission so quick, but I'm blessed.
All right. That's what we do. That's what we do.
I love it.
So thank you all so much for being here, and we will see you next month.
All righty. Bye,
All
guys.
right.
Have a happy rest of your week.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
I have a
Bye.
question. Do we go back to the other meeting, or are we done altogether?
We're-
It ends at 12.
we're
I
done.
think
Okay.
that women are still meeting right now, or it looks like they're trickling out also, and housing and homeless is also trickling out. So yeah, it looks like all the working groups are done for the
We're all
day.
done. Okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Amy.
right.
I love these meetings.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you.
all. Thank you,
Bye.
Bye,
Amy.
guys.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you,
Kathy. Bye, Anthony.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to get out.